Well, this is hallowed ground, of course. This is the Council of Ministers' chambers, and this is probably the part of, well, it is the part of government where all the important decisions are made. It's certainly the most powerful element of the whole political process, and often confused, it's fair to say, with Tynwald and Parliament. I think when people get elected to the House of Keys, there's the assumption that they are elected to the government, which is not strictly true. The government is what happens in here. Tynwald, of course, is the Parliament, and Parliament's role is to scrutinise the government. And of course, I mentioned about being elected to the House of Keys, and of course, House of Keys members are also members of Tynwald.
So it does get a little bit complicated, doesn't it? But in essence, Parliament is Tynwald, so when Legislative Council and House of Keys sit together, and the government are who the Chief Minister elects to head up the departments. Yes,
and of course the executive power lies with the Council of Ministers. So each minister, as things currently stand, has complete control over their element of government. So anything and everything that happens has to be delegated by the minister or instructed by the minister in that particular area. Now, there have been moves to talk about creating a single legal entity for Isle of Man government, but I'm not sure that those have progressed much further than a conversation at this stage.
What would that mean in practice for someone who didn't necessarily understand that term?
Well, of course, everyone assumes that the Isle of Man government is one thing, but of course it isn't. So the Department of Environment, Food and Agriculture, for example, is a separate legal entity to the Department of Home Affairs or the Department of Health and Social Care. So technically speaking, the departments are, well, being separate, it means that they have more difficulty actually working collaboratively than they would have if the government was just one single legal entity.
So in this chamber, I'm sitting in what must be the biggest chair in here, so who would I be?
Well, of course you would be the Chief Minister, the most important. Again, though, the legislation doesn't describe the Chief Minister as anything other than a member of the Council of Ministers. Obviously, the Chief Minister has the power to appoint and fire the ministers, but once sitting in this chamber, he effectively is one of an equal number. So there are 9 ministers altogether in the Council of Ministers. You'll note, though, that there are 14 chairs in here, and of course there are various officers who also meet with the Council of Ministers, so the Chief Financial Officer, the Chief Secretary, one of the press officers, and various others, the Attorney General, of course, they all meet as well. So it's there's lots of very important people meet in here and make lots of really important decisions which dramatically impact on the lives of the people of the Isle of Man.
It really is one of those places where you feel if the walls could talk.
Oh yes, absolutely. There's been some very, very interesting debates in here, I can assure you.